Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Shudder Slaughterhouse. I'm Daniel, and yeah, got another week of things I've watched that I'm gonna give little mini reviews for. Let's dive right in. Up first, we're gonna talk about Slasher, Flesh and Blood. This is a TV series that's been running since like 2016, I believe, and I'm actually only gonna be talking about the first two episodes. Well, vaguely, first two episodes of season 4. Because honestly, I didn't even know, I never watched a slasher series. I knew there was a show called Slasher, but I didn't know the ins and outs of it. Apparently, the first 3 are on Netflix, but the 4th one is now a Shudder original series. And so, yeah, and this is my very first, dive into that show. This is a Canadian TV show, too. I forgot to mention that off the top of the thing. So what I gathered from the show is that, in general, it's usually a different story. It's anthology, kind of like Channel Zero or American Horror Story or Castle Rock. It's a new thing now. Everybody's doing the let's make every season a standalone season. Anyways, with this, seems like every season just kind of focuses on a different serial killer wiping out victims. And I'm like, yeah, I'm down for that. That seems like an awesome show. So whenever I saw this Flesh and Blood, I was kind of pumped initially. And then a little disappointed that they only released 2 episodes. I didn't know, again, I didn't know what this was. I didn't know if this was like a mini-series or a 2-parter or what. But it's like, nope, there's still more coming out, but we got to wait on them. But, hey, it's a good marketing strategy because it seems like everybody loves this show. My boy David Cronenberg's in it, and I'm not going to lie, that was the biggest draw right there for me. I was like, oh, fuck, I'm in. And then when I started watching it, I was really surprised at, how well it's written. I love the storyline going into it. Once again, I don't know much beyond the first 2 episodes, but so far, very solid fucking foundation for a story to be told. 2, oh my god, gory as fuck. I was not expecting that either. Without giving anything away, I won't say who, but someone gets their guts cut up, and it's just fucking everything falls around the floor. It's like, fuck yes. So, really digging that. And like I said, it has a nice little whodunit kind of murder mystery. So I was like, this is a winning combination right here. As I said, there's only 2 episodes so far, but I am fucking hooked. Looking forward to more. Won't go into too much detail here. This is my pick of the week. I urge you guys to check it out. As of right now, there's only 2 episodes out, but you know what? They're 40-something minutes a piece. Check it out. The Shudder community gave this thing 5 out of 5 skulls. I'm going to go 4 out of 5. That's not an insult. I rarely will give a 5 out of 5 on this show, ever. So 4 is about as good as you're going to get. But it really is incredible. I definitely say check this thing out. Oh boy. Alright, so let's get to the next one. I'm not trying to be a dick. I really ain't. These next couple of movies just weren't my kind of movies. We're going to start things off with Bleed With Me. This is a 2020 Canadian film as well. This is a Shudder original also. The basic premise is these 3 is a couple, and then the third wheel go on this winter vacation, I guess. They're just hanging out in this isolated cabin. And I don't know, the third wheel maybe going crazy and starting to think that maybe the other girl is drinking her blood. For right off the bat, I just want to mention, I'm not going to take complete shit on this because honestly, having, made my own films, I know how difficult it is to make any work of art. To make any film, to get it completed, to get it put on Shudder, that's fucking incredible. So, right there, kudos to everybody involved. That's awesome. But for me personally, this was just not the movie for me. I didn't like really anything about it. None of the characters were really that likable. It was just boring. And I know what they're going for. It's low budget. They're trying to just be ambiguous about everything. Is this in their head? Is it not? Is this real? And I'm sorry, that works, other times. If I'm watching a David Lynch movie, I'm all for that. But this is just fucking melodrama. And it's no one's really making choices that make sense. I don't know. People change personalities pretty quickly too, and you're just I don't know. The whole setup's ridiculous, especially when you find out how the third wheel kind of gets involved in this group, and you're just well, why'd they even invite her? Why this couple? It makes 0 sense. There's no real. I don't know, the gore is very minimum, so there's no like violence that's gonna get you into. I mean, this is definitely like an art house kind of. This is definitely playing to the female art house melodrama group. It is. I guess it's all about your feelings and the feelings within, and we'll just make everything a metaphor. Fuck off. Like I don't know. It's just I couldn't get into it. I really was just not a fan. Didn't like it. There was nothing interesting about this that kept my attention. Yeah, I was bored instantly. And yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to shit on anything. I hope nothing but success for the entire crew involved. The Shudder community gave this thing 2 out of 5 skulls, which really shocked me because it seems like the default's like 3 to 4 skulls always. With the extent, I guess, of I said Slasher, they gave it 5 skulls. But yeah, they even gave this a 2 out of 5, and I'm gonna throw one lower. I'm going 1 skull. Like I'll never give 0 skulls. Like just like I won't give 5 skulls. Rarely, because to me it's just like that should be reserved for the best of the best. That should be reserved for perfection. I will never give a 0 skull because I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but the movie got made. Like for whatever reason I don't like it, it still got made, and clearly someone liked it out there. So I would never give it 0 skulls. But I'm definitely gonna give this thing a goddamn 1 skull because my God, I was just bored throughout. I'm sorry. And I want to stop there. I want to be like, all right, but because the next movie. So the next movie is Bloodthirsty 2020 as well, also Canadian. And this one is basically about this young female singer, pop singer, who goes out to another isolated area. It's a record producer's house, and they're going to record her next album. And turns out, maybe she's a werewolf. Who knows, right? So as we hit play on this movie, because me and my girlfriend Angel, we watched the first one, and we're both just not impressed. We was like, God damn, this fucking sucks. But it was what it was, and I read the cast and critics. Like I say, after I watch a movie, I usually do kind of look up and say, well, what everybody else think about it? I always read the critics' comments afterwards. I don't want that shit influencing me. And honestly, these movies were liked by the critics, so I mean, it's not like it's just me jumping on a bandwagon, punching down, as some people would say. No, these films are actually, they're praised by some people, so I'm punching up, bitch. Anyways, as I'm watching the credits roll by, right off the bat, it's like a film by Amelia Moses, and I was like, fuck! Because that is literally who directed the last movie. And then, I forget the girl's name, but the actress that plays the singer here, she was the girl in the last one who may or may not have been a creature too, and it's just like, and they're not even written by the same person. Like, I had a little bit of hope going to this one, because I was like, well, at least, Mila didn't write this one. No, but it's the same bullshit, just a bunch of fucking feelings, and, oh god, am I a werewolf? Am I changing? I will say I was happy. The reason I'm going to give this a slightly better grade than the other one was it does start off very ambiguous. I don't know what's going on. Am I changing? Is it in my head? I have a lot of complicated feelings about that. I don't give a shit. And so I was already just ready to fucking shit on this movie too. But they get rid of the ambiguity about midway through, and it's like, all right, it's a straightforward whatever movie. Let's do that, and I'm okay with that. I don't know. I didn't really like. I know that housekeeper from somewhere. Like maybe I'm being racist a little bit, but like every German older housekeeper looks alike to me, because I looked her up and I didn't recognize her or anything from her credits, and I was like, bullshit. I know that lady from somewhere. So I don't know. There must have been another like vaguely European fucking housekeeper in a different movie that I'm just like, Dad, I know this woman from somewhere. The guy who plays record producer, I forget, I'm blanking on his name right now, but he was in Saw 5. He's the one that him and Dexter's wife put their arms in the giant contraption and like saw their fucking arms like right up the middle and shit. And it's funny because this is kind of a little side story, nothing to do with the movie at all. But when I saw him, I was like, oh my god, like, man, like this guy's older, put on a little weight, getting a little gray. And then I realized, goddamn, it's been 12 years since like Saw 5, and I was like, no, Daniel, you're older. You're the one who's out of shape, and the one who's you're no longer in your early 20s anymore, or mid 20s. So I was just like, oh shit, I forgot, like, because in my head mentally, the 2000s was like 3 years ago, and it's like, I kind of gloss over the 2010s completely mentally. Because, like, to me, it's like, I don't know, we just got out of the 90s, and now it's the 2000s. It's like, no, motherfucker, you got 2 decades, in there. So, yeah, I've got it. It's kind of like most of, like, I don't know. It is like splash of water on my face, like, holy shit, I'm old. So, but, yeah. And, I mean, he did good in this movie, I guess, for what it was. Again, I'm not blaming the actors in this thing or actresses because it's the scripts. I just don't care about the fucking story. Like I said, this one gets a slight bump up only because they do web the whole like, I don't know if I'm really a werewolf or not midway through, and this has a little bit more gore, not much more, but it has a little bit more. So it's like, all right. And I think the fact it had like something to do with the music business, I kind of dug that. Like, I don't know, you don't really get a whole lot of horror films, especially that kind of take it, a little bit more seriously. The music business, that is. And so, like, when her main concern is, like, releasing that sophomore album, will it, be as good as the first one? Like, that's a legit concern, because I got a lot of musician friends who are, kind of in that same headspace, so it's just like, yeah, I get exactly, these characters' motivations here. So, again, I guess because the characters were just slightly more likable, even though I did not like any of the music. Like, oh my god, I guess I don't have an ear for music, because as I'm sitting here, I'm just like, this sounds like shit. Like, this is really her masterpiece? Really? This sounds god-awful, but what do I know, I guess, So anyways, the Shudder community gave Bloodthirsty 3 out of 5 skulls. I'll give it 2 out of 5. I still didn't like it, but it was better than fucking Bleed With Me. And luckily, we're done with Amelia Moses this weekend, so fucking gone. And then finally, the last movie I watched was called The Dead Pit. This is from 1989, and basically, mad scientists experimenting on the inhabitants of a insane asylum. So a fellow doctor shoots him right in the fucking head, ends the experiments, and then buries him down there with his failed experiments, right? Shackled, spackles the room up and all that shit. Like, he buries that secret deep. But 20 years later, we get this young girl who, she's suffering from amnesia. When she shows up, an earthquake happens to happen around the same time, breaks the door open, and the mad scientist is somehow still alive, and now he's going to conduct his experiments still. This movie, I started off really digging it. I was really on board, and then, I don't know, about midway through, it felt generic. Like, I don't know. Because it starts off with a lot of style. Like, that's the one thing I really liked about this was, like, there'd be scenes like them running down the corridors of this, like, abandoned mental institution. And there's, like, blue and purple neon lights shining through the windows. And I'm like, where are those lights coming from? Because that's not outside. You guys aren't even, like, in, like, downtown nothing. Like, there was no signs outside that had any lights on it. There should be no reason for that. I get it. It looks cool, but there's like a scene where the doctors are talking at the very beginning, and they're on the stairs. There's like a big green glowing light coming from the basement. I was like, what the fuck's that light? Like, where's that light source at? I want to see it. And you never do see it. It's just like, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, Daniel. This is art. It's fucking Argento. Just accept it for its dreamlike quality. And so I was on board. I was like, fucking sure, let's do it. Let's do it. It's going to be wacky, weird, and it was fun for a little bit. I really got a kick out of the main girl when she shows up. Again, amnesia. She goes by Jane Doe. They don't know who she is. And I'm assuming that when you get yourself checked to a mental institution, you get some sort of like, because it's run by the state, they give you some kind of state-issued uniform. And the whole movie, for the most part, she's wearing like this really short, cut-off shirt and a pair of panties. Just running around, and I'm just like, thank you, director of Lawnmower Man and was it Virtuosity, the Denzel Washington Russell Crowe movie. Thank you, that guy, because he's just like, yeah, it didn't make sense, but we don't give a fuck. She's gonna run around in her underwear the entire time, and Daniel's okay with that. And then it gets even more sleazy and ridiculous because, like, out of nowhere, there's a random dream sequence where she's just strung up in a shower room and then hit with a fire hose. And I thought it was sleazy enough with that because it's like wet shirt, white. You can see right through it, and it's like, okay. But no, then the shirt gets ripped, and the director just lingers on that shot forever. Just a naked girl in pain, topless, wet. Oh my God. And I'm just like, I love the sleaze, buddy. I love the sleaze. I can respect it. I can respect that. Amelia Moses, if you're out there listening to this show, just throw some gratuitous nudity in your movie. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be sexist. The girl who directed, the vampire one. The Love Vampire? Was that it? Like, titties all in that thing. And so it's not a sexist thing. Hey, I'm on your guys' side. Free the nipple. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? The female body should not be covered up or ashamed of it. Free that fucking nipple. I'll free mine. Look at this. Boom. There it is. Boom. Free your nipples, ladies. Free them. Amelia Moses, in your next movie, their beer just be a bunch of... You throw some pickle in there, too. I don't give a shit. Pickles and titties. Just pickles and titties. That's the name of a barbecue shop I want to open up on the roadside in Texas. Just pickles and titties. What the fuck am I doing? This show's just going off the rails. Anyways, yeah, Pit of the Dead. Sorry, or the Dead Pit. Let's go back to that. Anyway, so the Dead Pit, like I said, it starts off pretty good, and then just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of settles down to just like a mediocre type movie. Like, I don't know, I started off such high hopes, and it's fun, and then just, I don't know, it just kind of like, and at the end, it's just like zombies for some reason. I just felt like this director was just like, I don't know what I'm doing, but what looks cool? And they're like, well, some neon lights, do the Argento thing. He's like, yeah, do that. And they're like, I don't know, we throw a naked girl in there. He's like, I mean, doesn't make sense for the script. And he's like, I'll call it a dream sequence. He's like, all right, naked girl. What else? And they're like, zombies. Like, fuck it, why not? Zombies. It was one of those kind of movies, and then at the end, like I won't say it, but the twist at the end, like right before the credits roll, you're just like, why is this thing happening? I don't know. I feel like I'm talking myself out of the score I originally gave it. Maybe I am. The Shudder community gave this thing 4 out of 5 skulls. I was going to give it 3 out of 5. It may be a 2 out of 5. I don't know. I definitely won't rewatch it. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Just for the gratuitous nudity and, you know, I mean, the effects were pretty good too. I didn't mind the effects. There's a scene where a dude's getting like his skull operated on, like his brain, like his skull's like ripped open. You see his brain, dude's just fucking poking needles in that shit. Like, that's pretty fucked up. So, yeah, for that alone, I'll give it a 3. It's a low 3, though. As bad as Lawnmower Man is, I prefer Lawnmower Man over this. If only it had a girl in the shower with her tits hanging out, covered in wet, just moaning, Lawnmower Man could have won an Oscar. But, hey, we'll never know now, will we? Alright, guys, that's all I got. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have watched any of these things I've mentioned, whether it be Slasher, Flesh and Blood, Bleed With Me, Bloodthirsty, or the Dead Pit, let me know in the comment section down below. And I'm sure I'll get a ton of like hate for my comments on the Amelia Moses films, and I'll accept it. I'll take all. I'll bear that cross. Let's do it. I'm okay with that. Put those comments down below as well. That's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in next time.